All-Star game, for many reasons, is the biggest celebration of basketball. There's so many iterations of All-Star Weekend that includes our players.
And whether it says Raptors or whether it says Toronto, whatever jersey they're wearing, it's a big deal.
Oh my goodness gracious, it is over!
Vince Carter just put the Raptors on the map.
That weekend was the coming out party for the world.
It's one of the most iconic moments to me in sports. It changed everything.
Toronto All-Star was so special.
I think the All-Star game was important to continue to establish Toronto as a big part of the NBA family.
How excited are you? The slam dunk contest. Are you excited?
Not yet, because we still have a couple of games. I'm trying to stay focused, but I'm just excited about the opportunities to being there. And you watch it all the time. I've never been, so I really don't know what to expect. Of course, Tracy's going to be there, so that'll help. But it's going to be fun just to actually play in the All-Star game more than the dunk contest, is because all of the great players in the NBA are going to be there, and I'm actually being considered as one of them with the fans' help, of course. And it's just going to be fun.
I remember the buzz even around the team in the weeks leading up to the dunk contest, and people kind of prodding him, like, what are you going to do and what might you have? And it was really quiet. I don't remember anything ever really leaking out.
It was crazy because not only did we have Vince Carter that first year, we had Tracy McGrady. And you have two guys that are in the dunk contest and all that. And I'll never forget the one time Butch in practice, they're going up and down, and it was like essentially a dunk competition. And so Butch would say, okay, no more dunks. There's no more dunks in practice. So then you would see Tracy and Vince do the most acrobatic and outlandish layups, essentially, if you would. Like, they get all the way up, be up above the rim, be right here getting ready to dunk, and then they just let it go.
I want to see something nasty, too. We got to give y'all something nasty. I was in it last year, now it's his turn this year.
Expectations were really high because he was such a great in-game dunker, and somehow he exceeded those expectations with the dunks that he pulled off.
I was excited about the opportunity. I mean, this is something I'd looked forward to my entire life. I used to not only get permission to watch the dunk contest, I would tape them, to study them and watch them again and try to figure out why ABC, whoever it may be, is doing this dunk.
A sensational field coming up in the slam dunk competition. Certainly Vince Carter of the Toronto Raptors is the favorite.
I was in the tunnel, and I was the last person to interview Vince Carter before he went out onto the stage. And I remember talking to Vince in the tunnel, and microphone was behind my back, and I said to him, V, this is you, man. This is made for you. He was like, I don't know, Jonesy, man, there's some good dunkers out there, man. Stevie Francis, Jerry Stackhouse.
I felt that way, like Jonesy was talking about, because leading up to that morning, Tracy and I were supposed to come over to have our practice time, but we couldn't find our driver to take us over. He was nowhere to be found. So we had to lie to the guy and convince him to give us a ride from San Francisco over to the arena in Oakland. Finally got a ride, and we get over there, but we missed our practice time. So by the time we show up, everybody's coming out of their practice time, three-point contest is going on. Everybody's waiting for that to end so we can go on to warm up for the dunk contest.
And we did the interview. He kind of had his head down, and he left me, and he walked away, and he kind of walked out a door into the arena, and the light hit, and it was like he went from, I'm not so sure, to boom, I got this, watch me.
And now the contestants of All-Star 2000, NBA.com Slam Dunk.
I remember walking out there for the layup line, and I'm like, this is my practice time. It is what it is. This is what you've been dreaming of. This is your opportunity to, you always wanted to get on the stage and do your thing and show the people what you got.
And here is the man that this crowd wants to see. Vince Carter, who had told Kenny Smith that he has 4 dunks that no one has ever seen.
The dunk routine that I wanted to do, I changed in that layup line prior to the contest starting because I didn't think it was good enough and I didn't think it would win. Those dunks that I did that night were either scrapped weeks ago or tried that night.
From the Toronto Raptors, Vince Carter.
Antoine and KG, I think, got me more excited than anything because obviously Antoine, my college teammate, KG, we played McDonald's game, we've been around each other, so he kind of knew me and what I had to offer, and they just hyped me up, and just seeing all of these other superstars who were excited to see me on that court was just like, oh man. It's kind of like once I stepped in between the lines, it was like, go for it.
All right, here is Vince Carter with his first stop.
Let's go home! Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen! Let's go home! Let's go home! Let's go home! Hey, that is a reverse 360 going against the grain. That is unbelievable.
This building just exploded.
That reverse 360 windmill, that was the first time I'd ever seen that. Anybody do something like that.
Anybody says they weren't surprised is lying, because as much as you knew what he could do, nobody expected him to pull out some of the tricks that he did.
We couldn't comprehend what we were seeing. It's like, holy, what did he do?
I was in disbelief. Like when he did the first, I'm like, okay, that can't get any better than that. It's literally just kept getting better and better and better.
This will be a team dunk with Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady.
The basket's here, you shoot the dunk and then immediately pan to the bench where all the other guys were, the NBA guys that were playing in the All-Star game, and they were falling all over each other, holding up the cards, 10, 10, 10.
The judges are coming over the table to congratulate Vince Carter. This is unheard of.
Oh my goodness gracious, it is over.
Vince Carter with a spectacular show.
After that, all the other people's dunks that were really good, all the other guys, nobody cared. They want to see Vince again.
He's got the swagger. He's got it all. The same kind of swagger that the Dominiques and the Jordans have.
When I'm walking up to the rim and I do one of these, I was just praying. That was my time because I was like, please don't fall off this rim.
All right, Vince Carter with his first on the final round.
Ladies, wait, time out. Can I take a time out?
I just remember my dad's reaction, and my dad was just like, that boy just stuck his arm in the rim.
That still comes, I believe, from when Butch said no more dunking, and he would push the ball through the net and let it go. That's not a dunk, that's not a dunk.
Last thing Butch Carter told me before I left here, he's like, don't break anything. Remember, there's a season after this. So that's why in the dunk contest, more so than just putting my arm in, I held on and closed my eyes, because I was trying not to fall off. There, cat's on the bag.
That weekend was the coming out party. That was the coming out party for the world. It wasn't a secret no more.
Vince Carter of the Toronto Raptors coming through with a sensational performance, and he is the NBA.com slam dunk champion.
I think at that time, that's exactly what the league needed. And Vince on the biggest stage with Toronto, with the Raptors across his chest, stepped up in the biggest moment and put on the best show.
It's one of the most iconic moments to me in sports, honestly, because it changed everything.
When Vince did that, numerous things happened. Number one, he won the dunk competition. Number two, it endeared him with other players across the NBA. It entrenched him as an instant legend.
Man, he's, what do they say, half man, half amazing? Good Lord.
Number three, it caught the attention of the entire basketball world.
This is a game of superstardom, and it's a game of superstars and the branding of the NBA. And I just thought to myself, I'm still getting goosebumps thinking about that dunk competition because I thought Vince Carter just put the Raptors on the map.
And then there was the association between Vince Carter and Toronto. And then all of a sudden he's on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. Okay, this is new. This is new territory for Toronto.
Watching that on TV, I think all the kids in Canada, after that dunk off, were putting the hoop super low and trying to do those dunks, and they still were hard. That's how you know those dunks were crazy, right? So
after the dunk contest, win the dunk contest, all of that, hold the trophy up. The next morning, I couldn't extend my arm. Purple, in black and blue purple, from holding on the rim so hard, not falling off. So I had to ice and do all this treatment prior to just to be able to extend to playing the game that next morning. So I was like, yo, Butch is gonna lose it. But I was able to play in the game and do what I did, but I had to share that.
Do you have any idea the impact the dunk competition has had back in Canada and really around the world?
I don't. I know it was a big thing for them to bring it back, and I think it was worth it. And we'll see. I'm sure it'll be even bigger next year.
Have you come down yet?
Well, yeah, I'm down. I'm down now. I'm glad it's over. I'm relaxing now. I can start focusing back on the season.
Thank you, and congratulations on a great weekend.
Thank you.
And now to make today's landmark announcement, here is the NBA's Deputy Commissioner and COO, Adam Silver.
Thank you, Matt. And it is my privilege to announce that the 2016 NBA All-Star Game will be hosted here in Toronto, Canada.
It was great. Be able to represent, a whole country, first time being out of the United States, to be here, having the world see Toronto for the first time, and, it's going to be great. And, I take a lot of pride in it from playing in Toronto for 7 years and seeing how much the city has grown.
There's something genuine about this city. There's something great. There's so much to soak in. I mean, our goal is in 2016 to truly showcase that. I think it's just going to be a week where everyone leaves and everyone agrees that it was truly an incredible event. I think that's the goal. So that's the gospel right there.
I think it was such a big moment for us as a franchise. I think when I came in 2013, we talked about getting the All-Star Game. The All-Star Game, for many reasons, is sort of the biggest party, the biggest celebration of basketball. And so I think there's so many moments of that weekend, which was, this is what the Raptors mean to the NBA. This is Canadian basketball culture. These are famous players that have been part of Canada basketball. Basketball is invented in Canada. There's so many things there that I felt like, put Toronto on a global basketball stage.
I was, again, a proud papa because all my friends from all around the NBA, coaches, players, were coming into our city. So I was proud to go around and show people around. But one thing I couldn't defend that weekend was that weather. Oh, it was bad, and I was apologizing for it the whole weekend.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Toronto.
It was just cold. I remember being angry. I remember being angry because it hadn't been that cold up until that weekend.
It was crazy because the week before that, it was nice. Remember that? And then that week, it just totally switched up on us.
It's funny because everybody, when they came into town, they were like, dang, is it always this cold? I was like, no. Like, this is probably the coldest this has ever been. I think it was like a record how cold it was.
I'm gonna characterize it as the gods were protecting us. They didn't want everyone to know about the secret that is Toronto. So, they kind of made it a little worse than it usually was.
Of course it happens. Toronto's known for the cold, and the world comes here and it's freezing, right? You're going out with the prettiest girl, and you finally get a date, and you get a big pimple right on your forehead, right? Like it just happens, right?
We still had a great time, man. We still had a great time. It was great for the city, for the country. It was a crazy time.
I think people came here and was like, oh my goodness, this city is amazing. I think the way the entire All-Star was put on was magnificent. I think they did absolutely everything right, except for scheduling it in February. That was the one misstep.
I think that weekend really opened up, and showed you, even though it's freezing cold, it was the coldest it's ever been. People really got to see the city, and I think that really put Toronto on the map globally in terms of the U.S. and people coming from all over and actually experiencing it that weekend, because the NBA weekend brings so many different people out here. So the city really blew up.
I think the All-Star Game was important for that because it helped to continue to establish Toronto as a big part of the NBA family.
Live from Toronto, Ontario, TNT's coverage of NBA All-Star Weekend continues with the 2016 State Farm All-Star Saturday Night.
Fans, it's time to add a new page to the history books as we begin the 2016 Verizon Slam Dunk.
I mean, has there been a better All-Star Saturday than the one that took place in Toronto? The Aaron Gordon Zach LaVine dunk contests, I think that hasn't been topped since, and I don't know if it's ever going to be topped.
It's the Orlando Magic's Aaron Gordon. From the Minnesota Timberwolves, Zach LaVine.
Like, it was Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon.
That was, in my opinion, the best dunk competition. Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon going toe-to-toe was ridiculous.
When people think of that weekend, they think of those two guys doing crazy stuff and never missing a dunk. Like, that's the thing, that they didn't miss any.
I've been saying this since 2000. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. It's over again.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and back-to-back champion, DeRozan slam dunk, Zach LaVine for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I still think Aaron got robbed.
I remember being in the arena watching the dunk contest and feeling aggrieved that Aaron Gordon was denied justice.
You could argue it was controversial just because Aaron didn't win, but it was probably the best dunk contest ever.
Well, one of the judges, Magic Johnson, said this is one of the best dunk contests he has ever seen.
The dunk contest was crazy. The game was great. You think about the legacy of Kobe Bryant and having one of his final great performances be in Toronto. For myself personally, a giant Kobe stan.
This was Kobe's All-Star weekend, right?
I was in love with that moment. I thought that Toronto All-Star was enough for me to say that we need to do it again and again and again. I think Toronto deserves a lot more All-Star games.
Toronto All-Star was so special for me because I always wanted people to respect the city. I always wanted people to respect the country because at that time, nobody really was paying attention to us. We always felt like the odd man out. Just to see us on a main stage, being representing in Toronto, man, that was everything we was fighting for.
It has been 25 years since the best players in the world descended upon San Francisco, California. But today, in the Bay, they're back. All-Star Weekend officially tips off.
Gradey Dick, he's heading off to the Rising Stars game, and this is an honor that he truly deserves. And just even seeing the growth in his game since he got to this organization has been quite special.
Really proud, this is one of the goals me and my dad wrote on paper, and we do this thing before every season since I've been a freshman in high school, where we take a piece of paper and write down what I want to achieve throughout the year, and this is one of the main things on it for kind of a personal goal. So, it's cool to look back at that and see what we did. Team T on 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here, and that's really all I'm thinking about. And I'm excited to play with these guys out here that I don't usually get the chance to.
Got two.
It's all up to you. All up to you. It's a big shot. It's good. Ooh, Jeff stepping. What if this way? Oh!
What is that?
I ain't trying to brag, but you just see what the guy just did?
Seen it, bro. I respect it.
Call me Tree Pete. Tom Dick. Uh-oh, see ya.
There it go!
Ooh!
What he good?
That's nice.
Just like practice.
But
you get nervous for this or no?
that's all fun. They're throwing the shiesty.
That would be.
That's how I walk around Toronto. No. Ooh.
You like that?
You ready?
Yeah, ready to go.
Any glasses? I could do it to him though, but I don't know if I should. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, I think I have to, right? Yeah, let's do it. Let's go play some ball.
Yeah.
You know, I'm super grateful. You know, it's a blessing to be here during this weekend. You know, it's cool to see personal achievements every once in a while, and get to do it with my family and, you know, everyone here, you know, from the Raptors. So it's, you know, it takes a bunch of people to help, but you know, it's a huge blessing.
Wake me up, young man. Now I got a cup of coffee.
It's out. Carter has him lined up. Ryan guards him. He blows by him. To the hoop at 360. Two-hand jam by Vince Carter.
There's so many iterations of All-Star Weekend that includes our players.
I was just a young guy. I'm trying to establish myself and make my mark. I know there's a kid watching the dunk contest, taping it and breaking it down like I did. But it's like when you're engulfed in the moment, I was just making sure I made a dunk.
Underneath to Davis for the monster dunk.
AD did so much. I don't think it was acknowledged, and it wasn't recognized outside of our team. I think he was very underrated when it came to his value for the Toronto Raptors, but I was very excited when he got acknowledged as an All-Star that year.
Whether it says Raptors or whether it says Toronto, whatever jersey they're wearing, it's a big deal when even Jamario Moon is out there, or when Jason Capono is out there, whomever the player might be, Terrence Ross. To still say, no, but that guy's on our team and that guy's representing us.
That was such a cool moment because up to that point, you know, Chris had left. We kind of struggled those next couple of years just trying to find our way. You know, I remember going into that year, I just wanted to win and I wanted to kind of, you know, gain my respect on and off the court, and making All-Star that year, it was a feeling I couldn't describe because, you know, it take you back to being a kid watching all the All-Star weekends. Now, you being a part of it, you seeing your name being selected, you putting on that jersey.
Steele drops it for Valanciunas, and Jonas throws it down.
Kyle dunk in one of those games? No, maybe when he was dreaming, but I don't think he dunked. If he did, I missed it. I'm sorry.
It happened in New York. Off the miss, I dunked it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what got into me that day. I think the floor was bouncy. It gave me a little extra boost.
John Walls, baby. I got Hobbs.
I think there was twice where the coaching staff was named. And so, you know, we get a big plane, the players will go, they bring their families. And it ends up being sort of like a very Raptor weekend where the Toronto Raptors are sort of front and center in All-Star.
Me being an All-Star is cool, but to show that you can take and lead two different staffs to lead an All-Star game and get them that bonus or that notoriety and all that stuff, that was the most important thing about the All-Stars for me.
We had a great time with it, and I'll never forget coming down to the very end of the game. We had a chance to win the game, and we were playing against actually Kyle and Demar, who were on the other team, and we put the ball in, I believe it was LeBron James' hands, and we ran a play that we would normally run for Demar, and I think we scored on it, and it was kind of like a fun moment.
Fred VanVleet, first undrafted player in this All-Star game since '06, and Ben Wallace.
That was a crazy weekend for me because it was also the NBA 75 too. So all of the legends, Hall of Famers were there as well in Cleveland that weekend. So I got to get that at the same time as being an All-Star.
It was just fun to be able to connect with so many different people. I feel like that's the best part about it. Even just getting mentorship from Dame when just sitting on the bench talking to Dame. Those things like that is just like an important bond connection that you take away from those moments.
A versatile wing with elite shooting ability who can play above the rim from the Toronto Raptors, Gradey Dick.
I'm really proud of him. You know, it took a lot of work that he invested this past season, especially during the summer, his commitment. He made huge leaps and huge strides. Really proud of the work that he put in. This is a great accomplishment for him to be selected for Rising Star.
Gradey Dick, unable to be stopped, taking it to the rack. 4 points for him, 4 points for the team, 2 assists for Anthony Black. Gradey Dick from deep. Don't let Gradey Dick get hot. He gets hot, it's gonna start falling.
Anything that I do, I'm representing them, and I understand that. And not only them, but the whole of Canada. So it's kind of maybe a lot to think of, but at the same time, I wouldn't want it any other way. it just shows the love and support that Canada has and Toronto, as a whole for their players. And I feel like anything that I do, I play for them too, and it's to make them proud at the end of the day.
Next time on Open Gym.
Welcome to the playoffs. The focus, the energy, the excitement.
Playoff ball, it took it to a whole nother level.
Atmosphere was just phenomenal. Every possession, every play mattered.
The whole energy of the whole entire city changed.
Winning a playoff series, moving on to the next one, you have confidence.
Vince and Allen were trading blows.
The Raptors were just like scratching and clawing.
And we just couldn't beat that motherfucker.